Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Biz recording. I'm either like a week late or I am a day early. Let's go with a day early because this week has been manic with oil camp. So this is for week beginning the 15th of July. Let's do it like that. Few things, and I've got a very exciting thing to share with you. First thing I want to share is just want to give a shout out to a couple of you, few of you, with regards to the Rose and Jasmine and the whole Sweet Alchemy promo. Actually, I'm going to share this because then you've got a visual to go with it, just in case. So Megan, you've already got a Magnolia Touch. I'm sure you already know that. And you are one away from a free Jasmine as well. Lauren, you've got yourself a Magnolia and a Jasmine already. Tony, you are one away from a Magnolia, as is your Rochelle, who's also one away from a Magnolia Touch. So I just want to say, yay! It's not even like it's the 14th of July. So, and remember, this promo is running until the end of August. And so, yeah, I'm just really, really excited, really excited for you. Remember, enrollments need to be at least 100 PV. So whilst you may have enrolled someone with 60 PV, that's not going to count for this promo. So enrollments have to total 100 PV or more. Yeah. Anything else I want to say to this? Yes. Let's really mention this to people who are hosting classes this month. So I know that Lauren, you've got one or two people who want to host classes. I've got someone hosting several classes in July. So they are well aware because I'm like, you need to have at least 4 people in your classes. Well, I want you to have at least 4 people for me to come and help present. 2, I want you to have at least 4 people there so that you are eligible for Byron and Renee's free Essential Life book, because the more people you have there, the more likely it is for you to get those 200 PV enrollments. And I want you to get that free book. And I want them to reach for this, right? I want them to get these free oils because they've been such a gift to me when you know the story, when I got these in 2016 or whenever it was, and I got Jasmine again. I only got Rose once in 1 year. I got Jasmine again, I think it was last year. And it's just, yeah. So let's make sure that we're mentioning the Essential Life book promo from Byron and Renee, and also alongside the Sweet Alchemy promo, because it's just a big whammy, right? And if someone's hosting a class for you, you don't need to put a gift forward, right? You've got a gift from Byron and Renee. You don't need to say that it's coming from you. You just be like 2 enrollments and then a gift, and then the book will show up in the post. Who it's coming from doesn't really matter. It's a gift, right? So just wanted to mention that. So well done. Next thing. So Sally Bell, tomorrow, 15th of July is the final day that that we as team members can receive our Sally Bell. So go into your tree, make sure you go into your tree and just see who hasn't yet placed their order. There are still occasional glitches where LRPs are not, let's stop that share, shall we? There are still occasional glitches where LRPs aren't going through, or when their credit card expiry date, if their credit card is expired, it means the LRP isn't firing off. So make sure that someone doesn't miss out, just make sure that no one's missing out on Sally Bell tomorrow. So just go into your tree, just have a look and see if someone's got, 150 PV order going out on the 20th of July. Might be a good idea to send them a text and say, just want to make sure that you're aware that 15th tomorrow is the last day to receive Sally Bell. And this is a once a year gift from doTERRA. We won't be receiving this till next year sometime. So that's for your current team. So to go into your tree, just make sure, just see who's, where everyone's at. And then secondly, let's help you and your team, but help you. I'm going to talk about you first. I want to help you get your rose and jasmine, right? So leverage. Sally Bella's leverage for you. So who can you reach out to tomorrow? I've got a couple of people that I'm going to be reaching out to tomorrow, just to let them know tomorrow's the last day, right? And no point just saying Sally Bell. Again, you've got to let people know what it is that's so valuable. What is so valuable about Sally Bell? So I talked about this before, but really, really sharing the value of that oil. Obviously, if you've been telling people and you've mentioned this to a particular person all month long, then you don't want to do overkill. But if someone, you know when it's a good time to reach out and say, hey, it's the last day. I know you're really, really busy, but if you're like me, you probably appreciate the reminder. So use the Sally Bell as leverage, and use it as leverage for referrals. So let me share something else with you. I'm just got to find it first. Hang on. Where is it? Here it is. So I have already posted this. I've tucked it under announcements in our biz group. So there's a lot of referral info. So if you've dived deep into that, good. If not, you've got it there to read. But tomorrow's a big day because it's the last day. Hopefully we're not all leaving things to the last minute, but tomorrow's the final day. So let's see who might want to refer someone to you, right? So obviously Oil Camp's not finished yet, but let's say, and there are lots of people, in fact, I think every single oil camper who's engaged mentioned someone that they would gift the intro trio to on day 1. Now, ordinarily we'd be reaching out to them after Oil Camp ends. But Oil Camp ends on Wednesday, and tomorrow is the 15th, Monday. So, I would, this is what I would do. I would, in a private message to your oil campers, send a message and say, I know that you mentioned, Marie, that you're going to gift, that you would give the intro trio to. I know that we haven't even finished Oil Camp yet, so we don't even know if you've won the grand prize yet. But I just wanted to let you know that today's the last day that someone who's enrolling with a kit can receive Sally Bell for free. And I always sort of, you could say something like, I always hate it when someone enrolls with a kit a few days after a huge promo like this ends. Do you think Marie, her friend, do you think she'd appreciate, what if this person is like ready to enroll with a kit? You just don't know. If you do it elegantly, without attachment, I've got to have this. If you do it with a spirit of service and go, look, you know what? If your friend's never had any, if your friend has never had any experience with the oils, I'd actually prefer to make contact with her. With you can connect us, and I'd like to send her some samples, and then you can give her this spiel here, right? And then you can say, this is what I would do. I would connect with your friend and I'd learn a little about her. I'd find out what she needs and give her some free samples. I'd follow up a week or so later to see how it's going and see if she has any questions. If she's interested in learning more, I'll connect her to additional resources. If she wants to get her own oils, I'll help her navigate the products and place an order. If not, no pressure at all. I think you know that about me by now. So if there's someone, and you know that when there's someone who's never even heard of the oils, the likelihood of them enrolling with the Home Essentials kit, in like very, very quickly like that to get the Sally Bell is pretty slim. But you might have an oil camper in there who's already sharing, and whose friends already know about the oils, but they haven't got a kit yet, and they just need that little nudge to go, oh my gosh, is today the last day? Sure, I'll get it. This happened, and the reason I'm saying this is totally possible is my belief system is like, this happened when I went silver, and there was, I can't remember what the promo was. It was March time, so maybe it was Ice Blue. I have no idea. And there were 6 people that enrolled just calling them up, and they were friends of a friend. They were all referrals. And she had done a really, really good job because she was loving her oils, and her friends already were like, yeah, I just want a kit. Just tell me what to do. And I was like, okay, give me a call and I'll take all your details. I've done that where someone was already ready. They hadn't had any samples, but their friend had, their friend was so evangelical about the oils that they were a big influencer in their life, and they were like, oh, I'm happy, I want to get a kit, show me what to do next. So just, you've got some scripts there, so just see how you can leverage the Sally Bell to get referrals. And you can use the oil campers, some of the information that you have in there, and you can tread elegantly and just go, look, I would normally wait until oil camp ends, but it's the last day of Sally Bell and da 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 da. You could do it that way. So that's one angle. Now, if you don't have anyone in oil camp, or maybe you've exhausted oil camp, look at your existing team, which is what I'm going to be doing, and let them know about your referral program. So again, tucked under announcements in our biz group, some graphics and some bits and pieces to help you reach out to team members and say, hey, Marie, for instance, I don't know if I've ever mentioned my referral program. So Marie, is definitely not interested in sharing in terms of, supporting or building the business. But maybe she doesn't know that you have a referral program in place. And she probably doesn't, because we've just really begun talking about this. But you could mention, like, for instance, I tucked away in that post that one referral is they'd get 20 PV worth of product, 2 referrals is 50 PV. So you could share one of the graphics and just mention it and we'll see what happens from that. So this is something that I'm really, really excited to dive into, because it's quite clear when someone, now we get to really go, you know what, you're not interested in doing the business at all. You've made it really clear. Awesome. Let me tell you about my referral program. Right. And they're like, oh, sweet. I get some free oils here. Here's my mom, take her. Here's my sister, take her. Right. And then, we enroll them and we place them underneath them, as sponsor. Right. So there's a few ideas there, right? To leverage Sally Bell, we've got oil campers, we've got some leads there that we can follow up on. And we've also got people who are willing to host classes now. Thank you. Thank you to myself for remembering this point. I'm sure I mentioned this in a previous video about oil camp, but when it comes to the final video, the wrapping up video on Wednesday, we're going to offer them extra bonus points for hosting a class. Sorry, we're going to offer them a gift for scheduling a class with us, and that you can offer them an oil or something. And then they get a host gift, which in this case is going to be, Byron and Renee's Essential Life book. So this is a great way. If someone mentions in the comments that they want to host a class, you can then message them privately. And if you know that they're kind of interested in doing the business, so therefore the enrollments would be theirs, you would mention the Sweet Alchemy, right? If you know that they're just like, yeah, I'll host a class, but they, you have a conversation, I've posted up all these different screenshots of comments that will help you phrase how, the ins and outs of, okay, well, the commission is for someone who's going to be supporting that person. So if you're not interested in supporting, then I have this to offer you instead. So you've got some language, you've got some verbiage there. Again, that's all under announcements in our biz group. And if you click on the referral, there's a couple of referral posts, but you'll see there's one with like 10 comments, and you can just go through that. That'll help you clarify if that person wants to support those people that they're inviting to a class, or if they're literally just referring them to you. Okay. All right. That's it on that. Oil camp, please make sure. So we're doing it in events this time round. Unlike groups, Facebook literally, because I set it as an event that ends on, I think I've set it to Friday. So they've got a couple of days after it ends on Wednesday to kind of catch up or whatever. But please make sure. So what I'm saying is Facebook the event just disappears. It goes I don't have to do anything about moving people from it. It's not like a group thing. So it goes. So please make sure that you grab links, you copy and paste any bits of information that you want to save for next time. So yes, I don't leave it to the last minute. Referrals, host a class. Okay. And I'm coming up to my little surprise thing that I've been working on. Before I do that, let me stop this share because we don't need that anymore. So I've had an interesting couple of days, and I'm really keen to share this with you with the intention of not activating the negativity that it brought up, but with the spirit of wanting to make this a teaching moment, and showing you, particularly, this video might be watched by a builder who joins us in a month's time, who's just fresh, and they're watching someone who's been doing this for several years. It's important that they know that when we get to silver, gold, and above, it's not all like, just the flow. It just flows on in. Gosh, can you hear it? It's stormy weather here. So I'm choosing my words carefully. Someone I recently enrolled, and I've been reading a book, and it says that you always know, like you can predict. It's a bit like that date that turns up half an hour late and not dressed appropriately, and you can kind of tell how that relationship's going to go. So what's interesting is, and I think we've talked about this before, warning signs. But when I met with this person, she let me know quite clearly that she had blocks galore with network marketing, and it didn't bother me, but I had a sense that there was attachment to those beliefs. So the beliefs, the blocks and the beliefs and the objections are never a problem, never. They're only a problem if we identify, if we're like, oh no, like these are, no, I'm holding on to them. This has become like a mantra in my life, is like the thought is not a problem. It's only a problem when you believe in the thought. So if someone comes to you with an objection, how open are they to letting it go? How open are they to releasing it? And I remember, we all know this, and we all probably shared these objections in the early days. But I had them, but I didn't overly identify with them. They were there, but they were part of the collective psyche, part of the regurgitation that goes on in society, and I was just holding it. Yeah, but network marketing is this, and MLMs, and money, and business, and oh, God knows, all of it, right? But I wasn't kind of holding on to it. It was just like, I remember having a conversation with Byron, and it was like, oh, you could probably take it. It was like, I'm waiting. Like I was waiting for someone to come and help me change my mind. I wasn't waiting for someone. I was waiting for the universe to come and help me shift, right? And then it goes. It's like something else comes along and like, oh, yes, that's truth. Yes, that, and off that other thing goes. So whilst I could hear that this person had several blocks and objections and funny ideas about business and network marketing and all those sorts of things, I also felt on some level that they were attached to them and that they weren't really willing to change their mind. That's dangerous, right? That's the dangerous thing. So that's really what I want to bring home with this point, is when you come across someone and they've got issues, the issue isn't what the objection, it's how willing are you to change your mind. So if you're not willing to change your mind, I can't help you. I cannot help you, and it's a waste of my time and a waste of my energy. Anyway, so there was a little bit of a warning sign there, because I could feel there was very little willingness to open. Because when she asked me the question and I gave her my perspective, and it was genuine, I was like, I told her what my experiences of this business and what it's shifted in me. She was like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah, I'm serious. And it was like, instead of her going, wow, yeah, when someone tells you something and you're like excited by the idea, you're inspired and you're willing to receive versus. So I had a warning sign back then. I hope I just really want to share my process with you. So this person has, over the last couple of days, she's been fairly open to, so she got her kit and she's been receiving the education. And then I got an email from her a couple of days ago with a bunch of links. Now she obviously, we've met up twice and she's in the Elevate community. And she sent me an email with a whole bunch of links, clickbait really, because I never clicked on them, and saying, "Oh, just these disturbing links about doTERRA. Needless to say, I shall be shying away from internal use." And it went on and on and on. And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I respectfully said, "Look, I'm not going to address any of these links because they're clickbait, and I'm not actually going to click on them. I've seen everything online." And I addressed what I thought was a genuine curiosity about, whether I wasn't going and trying to convince her. I said, look, you know what? If you just choose to stay using your oils aromatically and topically, you'll still continue to enjoy them. But if you are open to changing your mind, you might like to read some of this stuff here. And, you can, if you want to keep an open mind, I said, you can read some of this stuff here. But at the end of the day, just use your oils the way that you're comfortable to use them. If you want to just use them topically and aromatically, go right ahead. If you want to explore some of the other benefits that you can receive through internal use, here are some links. And I left it at that. And then I got another email that said, it kind of acknowledged and said, I'll look into them. But my friend, and in my head, my friend says this, and I don't mean offense, but wellness advocates have no qualifications, and versus someone who's been studying for years. And so I was like, okay. So what she's saying is I'm not qualified to be educating her around essential oils, much less internal use, and she shouldn't be listening to me because I'm a wellness advocate. So again, I took a pause and thought, all right. At this point, I was quite aware that this was starting to feel, but I did want to address this point because, again, it comes up a lot. And more importantly, whenever I'm in something that feels slightly sticky, I'm thinking, how can I make this into how can I make this into a massive thing that I can share with my team, as in you, right? And I was like, I've always addressed the whole aromatherapist, not qualified stuff, but I've had it in bits and pieces. I haven't got a canned response. And I'm like, this is my opportunity. Even if this person disappears from the planet, off the face of the planet, I don't care. I just want to create a response that I can then, I'm in the moment, I want to do it, and then I can share it with you in case it ever comes up, where you can respond intelligently about, when someone says you don't have any experience. And so I responded, and I'm going to share that with you. I'm going to call it a document. I'm going to call it, what do you say? So what do you say when someone says this? What do you say when? We've already had a few of those questions in Oil Camp. Like, what do you say when someone says CPTG is all made up? In this case, what do you say when someone says you're not qualified to be teaching people? And so, I responded with, actually, I've got a whole scientific and medical team behind me that educates me, and a medical doctor with 25 years of essential oil experience, and and I made it was a very lengthy email, but I made various points. And this is information that again, remember, I'm an awesome squirrel. This isn't from my own head, although it's what I believe, but just to save myself time, I just grabbed it from a few places and then I crafted it into an email. And I just said the difference between aromatherapy and essential oil usage and what we stand for. And I was quite clear at the end of that email that I was done, as in no more. Don't object anymore. Like, you've already objected about internal use and sent me some revolting links, which actually not acceptable. You crossed a boundary there, because it's one thing to say, hey, I'm a little unsure about internal use, but don't send me garbage, because you know that I'm here loving what I'm doing. At this point I was like, I'm done. And then I got another email today, saying, poo-pooing doTERRA's marketing, and I quote, the dangers of MLM monoliths. So at this point I was like, you're just wasting my time, because it doesn't matter what I come back with, you're not actually interested in changing your mind. Because I responded to the internal use, then you came back with wellness advocates aren't qualified and you're not qualified to educate. So I responded to that, and now we have icky doTERRA marketing and the dangers of MLMs, and I'm not responding to that. So I went for a really long walk this morning, and I was listening to, as per usual, The Perfect Thing. I was listening to Abraham Hicks, which I will share with you. So regardless of belief systems, you will find that it is so on point. And I'll just share a gem with you right now, because the point of this isn't about what she was saying, internal use or MLMs or whatever. It's not about the objections. It's about where your focus is. And it's about, I'm there and she's throwing something and I'm poof, knocking it out. Another one, poof, knocking it out, right? And in the moment we think like, okay, I responded well, but it's like my energy is here and I don't even want to work with this person, right? So this person's not a builder, it's just a customer. But I don't even want you in my tree, because you're not willing to change your mind, and that's dangerous to me, right? I don't care what thoughts you have, but if you're going to come at it and be attached, and suddenly you're just throwing stuff at me and just to see how I'm going to respond, you're wasting my time. And yeah. So I went on a walk and I suddenly realized it's not about what do I respond now with? That's not it. It's about, I've got to get back on track. I've got to get back in alignment. And, the only way I'm going to attract to me the people that I really want to continue working with, the people that I'm currently surrounding with, and I want to continue to elevate that, is if I'm in complete alignment with who I am, and I anchor into that. If I'm spending time focusing on why are they saying this about me, for instance, if you have maybe family members who are criticizing what you're doing or whatever, or if I'm focused on what this particular customer is saying about doTERRA, I've taken myself out, right? So I'm not vibrationally, I'm not in a position to attract the very best in people, because I'm over here defending. So this isn't to say that we don't respond to people, but it's just to have an awareness, and it's really to pause. When someone comes in, whether it's an oil camp or by email, or it's just to pause and go, what's my overall feeling about this person? Are they genuinely curious? And they just, you know what, they need something, right? And we've had these conversations individually where you might be a little bit stuck, but then something comes your way and you're like, oh gosh, you came home, right? You came home within yourself. So it's you discerning, how does this person feel to me? How do they feel? Do they feel like sunshine? They've just got a funny thought. They've got an outdated thought that isn't probably theirs. They just need a little help. So I'm just going to send them this link or send them this thing. Hey, watch this, and then let's chat. That's fine. That's really, really good. It's good. We want to support people, right? And then there's the people who want to drag you down. Their energy is very much stuck in the past. and they're not willing to give it up. And they see all this new stuff as a threat versus, this is the future, right? This is the new world, and this is the new way of business, and collaborating, and all of it. So it's number one, pausing when someone comes to you with something like this. How do they feel? How are you going to respond? Don't just react. I need a response to this. I've got to respond to this person. Is pausing. This is all teaching, like every time I go through this, and years of people. But I know from experience, number one is the people who object, they don't really stick around, because and usually what I find is that they are also beautiful teachers in disguise. And so they kind of get us they bring us back on track. And so the final point is, so the first one is, how do they feel? Pause before you respond. And the most important thing is make sure that you are focused on your own alignment, how you're feeling in the moment, right? So we had a beautiful day. So I went on a lovely walk, and then this afternoon we went out for a lovely drive in the storm, just to go for a drive in the lovely, just through the countryside, singing out loud in the car. And I suddenly just rose completely above it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even care. Like, I don't care, to the point where I actually want my energy to repel her from my tree. Because I don't want that. And I'm not going to do anything to get rid of her. My energy will do that naturally. But it's a reminder, and this was a lesson for me. It's a reminder, get back on track. Anchor into the joy, to the things that feel yummy. It's different if someone was to send me a genuine thing. Hey, I read about this. I'd love to hear your take on it. But the difference when someone is just objecting for the sake of objecting. And that was my biggest thing. And I'm going to show the Abraham Hicks, because I know a couple of you really love Abraham Hicks. This was, for me, this is not about you and them. You know how we think that, this person could be, I don't know, your sister, could be a mother, could be a spouse or whatever. They keep trying to get me, that they keep, what's the phrase? They're a major distraction, or, I feel like, no, that it's not them, it's you. And this is what this was saying. It's not them. If you're allowing them to take you off track, it's because you are allowing them to take up room in your mind, and you're focused on that. So long as you are focused, and this is what the other beautiful gem, so long as you are focused on this person annoying you, then that's what you're going to attract more of that. It's just law. So if we, she said, you beautiful humans, you complain about these people doing what they're doing to you, and yet that's all you are focused on. Take your focus off of it. And so, as I said, this is not in the spirit of activating that, but I just wanted to offer that, because I know as empaths, we kind of take that stuff on, and we're like, I'm responsible. You're not responsible. They are responsible for changing their own minds. You can be a guide, and particularly if they come to you and they're like, do you have anything that might help me? That might inspire me, go ahead. You might have some things tucked away and you can send them. But other than that, if someone just wants to keep sending stuff at you so that you have to defend, don't defend. Save your energy for the people who are there with wide open arms. Wide open arms. There are people who are waiting. But as long as my energy is focused over here defending, I'm not over here welcoming. I'm not over here welcoming. I'm pretty sure I've used that analogy in the past because it's just come back. But make sure, where are you focused? Where are you focused? This has been a beautiful lesson for me. And I'm vulnerably but powerfully sharing it, that for a moment there in that second email where I was crafting it, but also mindful of going, you know what, I can feel that I'm getting entangled in something, but I'm also going to use this as something that I can send to you. We don't want to be, oh, am I ready to defend? Do I have all the answers ready in case someone comes up with that? No, we want to be ready for the people who are like, oh my gosh, what you are doing, I want to be a part of it. Just, so that's what I'm going to say with that. And then lastly, the surprise that I have wanted for 2 years to create a lifestyle overview video. We all know of people that we've reached out to organize a wellness consult or a lifestyle overview. They're too busy. They don't ever respond. They never get one, right? So it's those people who never respond. There are lots of people who don't actually take us up on the offer of a wellness consult. They don't want to sit with us either in person, in Zoom, over the phone. They have their kit and they just haven't got the time. They don't want to make the time or whatever it is. It's for those people. It's also for those people, and I've had plenty of this particular camp where we meet up, but they tell me that literally they've got to go then pick someone up in half an hour. So we've got half an hour. Now, I cannot do the Live Guide justice in half an hour because I want to do it properly. I want to take them through the lifestyle pyramid, and they've got questions, and I want to show them their account. I can't do it in half an hour. So I've always had this thing where I don't like being rushed, and I don't like feeling like I've got to literally transfer all of what I have into your head in this space. And I would like you to come to this half an hour. If all we've got together is 20 minutes, I'd like you to have some background. I want you to have some idea about what Loyalty Rewards is. I want you to know about some of the products, which is why I designed the introductory email series as it is, which is why the last email introduces someone to the LRP, so that when they come to a wellness consult, they have some idea. They may not have gone through the whole guide in detail, but they have some idea. They've got a couple of questions and we can answer them. So this is through experience, through people just not wanting wellness consults, through rushed wellness consults where it's just rushed. You've kind of skipped over the wellness pyramid and you've just gone straight to LRP. But you know what? That just feels like I can't wait for you to place your next order. But they don't know, like, well, we haven't given them, we haven't earned the right to speak, to put it in Laura Jacobs' words, we haven't earned the right to talk about that Loyalty Rewards program because we haven't taken them through the doTERRA lifestyle and how we're inviting them to live. So if that bit is rushed, it's going to be very difficult to get them onto LRP. And if we do get them on LRP, it's going to be very difficult for them to stay on LRP. And so for 2 years, I have wanted to do something where it's a half an hour recording. We're taking them in depth through the Live Guide. And I make reference in it that, you know what, this bit here is hopefully where we get to sit with you individually. So it's not a replacement of, but it's a beautiful foundation. They come, like I have most of my people are mothers and they don't have an hour. If we're also wanting them to go through Oil Camp, and then they have, an hour to go through as a wellness consult, through the lifestyle overview. And so this is what I'm going to share with you. So what I'm sharing with you here is just the slideshow, but obviously it's all recorded. It's on YouTube. I'm going to share the link in this post that I put up on the Biz Group. So it's a recording that you can use. This is a resource that I have created for you, for us. So it's we here. So I take them through the, hopefully you can see this. I take them through, there's a few little extras here. And then I bring them to the attention. So I have studied deep to create this. It might look just like a half an hour thing, but I have watched Laura Jacobs. I can't tell you how many hours of Laura Jacobs I've watched to understand the psychology and the philosophy behind the wellness lifestyle pyramid, and why it's always been so easy for people like Laura Jacobs and Justin Harrison to get people onto LRP, is because this was the gospel. like if they did nothing else, they talked about the wellness lifestyle pyramid. This is how they earned the right to talk to people about LRP. And so I want you, before you begin to contemplate sending this to anyone, I want you to really, really sit and watch this. Like slowly watch it. Don't just like have it while you're washing up. Like sit and watch this. This is the basis of your pipeline. It's not the enrollment. You know, we all know we can enroll and then they just disappear. That's the hauling the bucket. This is the bit. Now, it goes wrong when they don't take us up on the offer, or maybe we don't reach out to them, or they come and there's kids everywhere. Oh my gosh, I've had wellness consults like this where there's kids running around everywhere and they're not really listening. They're not taking it in. You're just rushing through it. You're flipping the pages trying to get to the end. You know what I'm saying? You're flipping the pages. They're not receiving it. You just don't know where they are. It's rushed. You get to the end. You show them the account and it was a waste of time. You know, I have had, it feels like hundreds of wellness consults where you just know that was a waste of time because they didn't really receive it. Now, there are ones where it was well received. And I have come to understand this doesn't replace the one-on-one. This is not meant to replace one-on-one connection. We never want to replace that. But this is about being smart with our time. And I'm all about creating time freedom. I want to create time freedom. And I want to create systems that work for us over and over and over again. So this means that, and I've just done this, I have just sent this to a new enrollment. And I said to her, I'll share the text with you, by the way, in the biz group, that I would love for you, it can work. What did I say? It works really well. If you watch this recording, grab half an hour, grab a pen, sit down, watch this, and then I'd love us to get together so we can set up a daily wellness plan and I can help you navigate your account online. It doesn't replace it, but it means that even if I only have half an hour, I can say, so how did you rate on the wellness lifestyle pyramid? How did you go with that? And that, like, I don't need to explain it. I explained it in the video. So it's not all, it's like, and I went through it in detail. They would have sat down and you know what, that this is something that's just come up. Someone always gives a gift, in their wellness consults. So they don't use their wild oranges at time of enrollment. They use them at the time of when they meet up for their wellness consult. So this is how you can leverage it, right? Let's say, for instance, you really like that idea. I mean, this is something that I would do because I know the importance. I'm less interested in just enrollments galore than I am in enrollments that stay the distance. And I know that if I can bring home to someone the importance of these 4 levels, doing a cleanse, movement, I've got them anchored into the values of this. And so they'll be like, oh my gosh, I can't even fit everything into a 125 PV order. Without this, they're like, well, I just bought a kit. I don't need more stuff. This is so important. This is everything. So I want you first and foremost to go through this. You might be inspired to create your own, but please, I have created this for you, right? When you listen to it, you will see that this is something, it's the Elevate Lifestyle Overview. And this is meant to be timeless. Now, one thing that you will see that will be different is that I have used the US version. So these are slides they're not slides, these are graphics that I grabbed a couple of years ago, or maybe, I don't know when, but you will have seen them if you were present. Valentina, I know you were, when I did a presentation in the Yurt this time last year, I think it was. And I did a little, I did a presentation of this in our Elevate group as a live. And I rewatched that again to grab some of the ideas. And I was like, that's not time freedom for me. I don't want to do a live on something like this. That's something so important that then gets lost in the feed and it's gone forever. I want someone to watch this every time they enroll. And then from then we have we're like, you're like, okay, so did you listen? How did you go? Let's say they get to the spread on the eating right. What did you think? And they might, if you've watched this, you'll make notes and them so that you have a frame of reference. So that half an hour is so much more meaningful and so much richer, and you can serve them so much better than if, and again, this is my experience. This is totally this is not me blowing smoke up my ass, but this is my idea. In terms, all leaders will say to you, give them the full 2 hours. It's very rare that someone has 2 hours to sit down with us. And this is also a great way to weed out time wasters, right? We also know that some people, So you'll see that the eating right spread here looks different to the Australian one. This is from the US. Now, the reason I've done this, obviously this is not TGA compliant, and don't care that it is. It's not going to be spread on social media. This is for private use for us individually to share with our team individually. But the Australian one, which I have here, look, you know what? I'm going to be honest. It's pants, right? It's pants, because you look at the Eat Right, and it's got cilantro and black pepper on page 4, or the Eating Right. You know what? I'm not going to get someone on LRP with cilantro and black pepper. They're not foundational products. But doTERRA did its best with what the TGA, right? We know this from those of us who went to convention. doTERRA is doing its best with what the TGA is clamping down with. But to me, doesn't help me get my people on LRP, right? So if I say cilantro and black pepper and, what was it? Add to water for a delicious flavor and 0 calories. What does it say on here? Add to, where was it? You'll see that the verbiage is different. I can't remember. But you'll see the verbiage is different. And I want to introduce them to the fact that, and I said it in the thing, doesn't matter, your live guide will look a little bit different to this, but you have access to everything on here. And this is why I'm showing you this version. So I say that because I want them to know that part of eating right is taking digestive enzymes. I take them. Part of eating right is taking a defensive probiotic. They look at this and they go, oh, doTERRA it has a nutritional line, but it doesn't have a probiotic, right? I want them to know that there are kids supplements. So this is why I've done it this way. Okay. And I'm going to blow smoke up my ass, but I think this is a really brilliant way to do it. I didn't need to go into the details of TGA or anything. That's just unnecessary. But I want them to know that they have access to these products. So I take them through this. I take them through, so Lifelong Vitality, I talk about that. Where's the cleanse? Oh, that's the detox, sorry. Then exercise, again, do you know what? I didn't even notice this. This is hands on heart. I didn't even know that our Live Guide, the Australian one, does not have an exercise spread. It goes from Eat Right. Have you ever noticed this? It goes from Eat Right straight to rest and relaxation. They just skipped a whole level of the pyramid. Why? Because they can't make any of the products TGA compliant. So they just skipped it. How shit is that, right? I got nothing to say on exercise. Let's just skip it. Well, when you're sitting down for a Live Guide, I don't know why I've never noticed it before. It's so weird, isn't it? But so I've used the spread from the US Live Guide. And again, I mentioned that Deep Blue and Breathe are equivalent to whatever, Ice Blue, Easy Air. And I mentioned Deep Blue Polyphenol, Niter 2 Max, and the Slim Sassy, or the Smart and Sassy line, right? Rest and managed stress is what they call it in the US. We have rest and relaxation, and I talk about it, how it's the emotional health level of the pyramid. We go into the reducing of the toxic load. And again, I used Laura Jacobs' language, Laura Jacobs' philosophy here, which is there's 3 ways. Now, when you go through this and hopefully you make notes, you start to understand, yes, it's genius, right? So There are three things to reducing toxic load. Number one is doing internal cleansing. Number two, doing green cleaning. And number three, using natural body products and skincare. Now, how important is it for us to be mentioning? They might not be ready to do a 30-day cleanse with you straight after enrolling, but if they've watched this video and then they come and sit with you for maybe a half an hour wellness consult or maybe a 20-minute call on the phone, and you say, how good does that 30-day cleanse sound? I'd love next time, when you're ready to do that, I can let you know when the next guided cleanse is. It's the next one for us is August, yes. But they obviously can do this at any point, and you can send them the Elevate 30-day cleanse guide and they can take themselves through it. But again, we're dropping all these little hints so that Laura Jacobs calls it foreshadowing. So in the Nature Solutions class, we talk about the lifestyle. And so we get to this and it makes sense. It all fits into place. So this, like I said, I making this was like, oh my gosh, I just feel like this is going to change so much for us. So I go into the 30-day cleanse and what it does and the importance of doing a cleanse. Then I just talk about informed self-care. Now, the informed self-care, I think it's called self-care in hour one. Again, it's a pretty pants one. It's just meaningless language on hours. And so I mention what that is. There's no targeted support because it's not TGA compliant. So I mentioned that. This is the spread from the US one. And then I go into the second, so there's 4 parts to it. So when you are going through this, you might want to open up the teacher's notes because there are 4 distinct parts to this, to doing a lifestyle overview. There's the lifestyle pyramid and introducing the doTERRA lifestyle. There's the wellness consult, which is where they talk about, they write down their health priorities, making a daily wellness plan. Yeah. And then there's introducing them to important resources. So here is where I say, look, I give them some ideas, but I say, this is where we're going to sit down with you and actually make it a little bit more customized. So it's there. You can see it. I mentioned Dr. Hill's daily oil recommendations. I give a very bare bones routine of mine. These are all questions that are in here. Yeah. So this is, I'm taking them through this right now, but I've just pulled it apart. 1, 2, 3. And then this one here is this bit. Yeah. Again, this is the US version because I want them to see that there's so much more than what's on our spread. The only thing on here that that we don't have access to is the Trim Shake. Yeah. So just so that you're aware of this, we only have access to the V Shake. I've never tried it. I don't think, apparently it doesn't taste very nice. I used to love the Trim Shake. Some of you will remember, but we don't have access to that now. Thank you, TGA. So that's, I wanted them to see this. Okay. I mentioned LRP and then important resources in terms of Elevate community, and then I end it. Right. So you've got the recording. You might just like your process. You just sit down with your people. You might find that you like just taking them through this. Even if you do and you don't want to send them the recording, I urge you to go through this because this will enrich and enhance the way that you lead and do your lifestyle overviews, because you'll see how I take them through it. So even if you don't like the idea of sending people a recording, but this will still serve you because this will make your wellness consults even richer. I even weaved in what we learned, those of us who went to that Sunday after convention, the Empowered Success Day. And remember how we all took pictures of that slide that said, if you took money out of it, which products would you tick? I weaved that in here. So there were a couple of phrases that we all agreed that were really, really good. So I added them in here. So again, these are things that you can make notes of and you can weave into your own wellness consult if you don't want to send this out as a recording. So my process, as I say, is I'm sending it out, but I'm not saying, here you go, watch this, see you later. It's watch this, and then can we meet up? Mention a time. How about we meet up on Friday after you've watched it? And then that way, and you're telling them what you're going to be doing. I want to help you. I want to show you how you can navigate your account online. They need to know how to do that. I want to show you how to navigate your account online, and I also want to help you set up a daily wellness plan. Now, they may have done this on their own in the recording, but you might go, I'd love to see it. Let me see if I can help you with anything. And then you can ask them questions. How did you rate? Which is the one area that you feel like you need to focus on? If they go, it's definitely reducing the toxic load and doing a cleanse, you could go a little bit deeper in that. You could mention your own experience, how you use some of those products. And now this is why it's gold, because if they've been through this, they identify, say, for instance, that emotional health is their main thing. You might bring out the emotional aromatherapy kit and have them smell some of the oils, knowing that the recording took care of, they have a good awareness of the other levels of the pyramid, but you're now going to dive deeper into the one that they identified needs to be the focus for them. So you can go into the emotional aromatherapy oils, for instance. You might have them, can you see how it allows you to go deeper into something, because kind of got, not the fluff, but you kind of got the foundation out of the way. Now we can, and it also, because I've covered LRP, ideally, they've had an LRP, not a hit, a touch. They've had an LRP touch in the class. If we did it well, we will have mentioned that there are 3 ways to purchase oils in our class: retail, wholesale, below wholesale. And we gave a little mention, little tease to LRP. Then they will have come across it again in the 10-part email series where we talk about LRP. Then they may open the guide and watch something. Then they're going to get a little bit more here, and I put the guide up there. When they're going to come and sit with you, how easy is it going to be? They'll be like, yeah, I watched it. So they might have just one question. You can iron it out. It's going to feel so much easier. That's what I want. That's what I wanted for me, where, you know what, I'm not having to repeat the same thing over and over again, and I've got this tiny little window of time. Yeah. This way I don't have to keep repeating myself, but I can actually serve you better by tailoring it to what you need. But the stuff that I repeat time and time and time and time again, it's done. You can access that. That's freedom, folks. That's freedom. It's freedom for me. So, I hope this serves you. I hope your business benefits from this. I hope you feel a little freer and joyous with this little addition. I used to tell you what I would be working on, and I would say, I'm working on this now, and that never worked for me. It would sabotage. It would be like I felt like I was, I don't know, it would always sabotage. So what I now do is I'm just going to announce things when I've done them. And so I want you to stay tuned for another announcement to make your business even freer at some stage. Again, I'm not telling you when, because otherwise I just sabotage myself. So yeah. All right, I'm done. It is almost 10 o'clock at night, but I wanted to get this out before the 15th. Love to you all. Have a beautiful week. Bye.